Hey everyone, Mark with Grimtastic Baits. It's been a while, hasn't it? Life's been really busy and it's been flipping a cold. So my idea of standing in the garage when it's negative 10 degrees out to make video for you guys, no offense, is not my top priority. Not that I don't love y'all as followers, but yeah, safety first. So some of you may or may not know, when it comes to hard baits when I fish, I am a total sleut when it comes to Megabass. And this one was a very unique color as part of their fine art series. And, well, actually, let me show you what this looks like in the sun. Natural lighting sucks right now because it's cloudy, but this is the Megabass Fine Arts Ghost Kawamutsu, if I'm pronouncing it right. Got a kind of a bronze on the top, kind of around the gills, purple in the middle, some maroon or red flecking, yellow and whites, and then you probably can't see it this light, maybe you can, but it's a white with almost a pinkish belly, and then that yellow brown looking tail at the end. Same colors there, I'm suspecting. But this is what we're going to try and duplicate. Okay, so in the sun you get a little better idea of what this thing's going to look like. Now what I want to do, and this is going to be a huge challenge to myself, not even sure if I can pull this off, haven't even tried it yet, is I want to get this onto this format. And the only way I can get those type of colors, I've determined, is probably by using the mica powders. And what I'm going to do is use probably mostly the Pearl X colors, combined with the nasty SB coat, clear coat solvent base. Mix those two together into what I found in Hobby Lobby, which is these tiny cute little jars, and get the paint I'm looking for. Now originally I was thinking the whole thing could probably be airbrushed, but upon closer inspection I don't think I'm going to be able to airbrush those tiny little dots. However, I think I've got it matched pretty well. It may not look like it in the, well, gosh, now I'm second guessing myself. This looks more of an orange under the camera, but in real life it's that red. That's weird. Anywho, I am thinking I'm going to try a different process where I'm going to clear pour, just, I don't know if you want to call it a skin pour, a shell pour, I don't know, everyone's got their own different language for this, but I'm just going to hit these both with the clear plastic, hot plastic, let it drip out, smooth off or cut off all the extra flashing around it, because there will be. And I'm going to actually find a tool that works best to actually dab those little dots on, and I'm going to experiment actually with the camera on, probably on that. I will use this as my guinea pig. Now you're probably asking why I'm not just brushing them right onto a clear bait like this. Well, I thought about it, but if you look, there is layering in there. The yellow, it looks like the red is on the front, the yellow is on the second layer, and then it looks like that purple blue is on the back layer. So if I go reverse, I'm going red, yellow, purple, and hopefully by layering them like that and then injecting the clear plastic into the bait once it's done, throw it in the oven and let it sit at 300 degrees for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, just so that it all melts together and I don't get any cold cracking. I'm thinking that's the route I'm going to take. So with that being said, I have a couple of options that I was looking at as far as the dotting. And if I just bumped the camera, I'm sorry, I'm an amateur. So my thoughts were, handy dandy stir, yeah. But it's got a nice flat edge that would kind of mimic the flat edge on that. The other idea I have is the simple ball stylus here. That will not focus. It's tiny, there we go. That little thing, but I'm afraid that's gonna make it too round or put too much paint on. The other idea I have, wherever it went, is, isn't that always the way? Oh, here we go. A wire tie or a wire wrap. Why? Because it's very flat. I like that edge. And as you can see, I'd already dipped it just to see how it would work on a different bait, but I didn't really get a good outcome from it. But I'm going to try it on the actual bait I want to work on. So let's try. First of all, let's gather them up here. Now, this is the potent stuff. I would run a mask and some ventilation, but it's such a teeny tiny amount. You probably get more high running tester's paint making a model car aircraft than what you would off of this. So let's see, first of all, what kind of marks this can leave. Yeah, already I'm not liking it. That's a pain in the butt. I don't like that route. Let's try this guy. See if I just tap it. Too much paint. That's too thick too, unless I go straight at, oh, maybe if I go straight at it. That circles out too. All right, let's try this guy again. Well, maybe if we got some paint on it. Thought we did. Well, that dots too. So far, this looks like this is gonna suck. Now I'm changing directions. Maybe I do want to airbrush those. Look at that, I tried to wipe it off, it already stuck better than I thought it was going to. Well, I will say that SB, man, that paint sticks. That wasn't even on there but a few seconds. We're going to back this up for a bit. I am going to see if maybe there is something around here I can use to spray it, because maybe that is the best route. Okay, there's another step I can do while we're waiting on trying to figure this out. We are going to go ahead and, gloves on as always. Is one. And that is a much sloppier two. All right. What I am also going to do is I'm going to trim all this up, and then I'm going to actually tape around the mold itself. That way when I am airbrushing, I'm not hitting the mold itself and painting my mold. I don't want to do that. It's an old mold, been around since, gosh, it's probably one of the first epic bait molds 4.1s ever actually produced. I bought it as soon as it was released, and it's been with me ever since. But I still don't want to ruin it any more than I need to. So I'll be back after I get that cleaned up and taped off. Where are we? We are back inside at this point where it's warmer. So I have everything taped off. I have that clear coat, or that clear base down, plastic, skin, poured, whatever you want to call it. And I've decided to go a different route. I am going to still use this tool, but I'm going to do something I hate doing. And I'm going to attempt to just tap this into here as a dry powder. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to make some extra work for myself and use the clear in the air gun or the airbrush and put a light coating over it to stick it in place, hopefully. My concerns is too much pressure on the airbrush would cause the mica powder to fly around, not enough pressure on the airbrush, and it won't spray the clear coat. But if I fire it from far enough away with the right pressure, I might be able to get it to land on the actual bait itself without basically spraying the little markings up, the little red notches I'm going to be going here for. The rest of it should be pretty simple, because then I'm just going to come in, I'm going to mix up looks like a yellowish brown or something, more chartreuse in here. Then I'll add a brown or something to it to get it darker. Then I'm going to save some of that for the back of the bait. Then I'll hit it with the purple, because I think the purple is like the color that stands out in the back the most. And we'll see where we go from there. So maybe it's time for a fast forward scene, a 8x, 16x speed. Well, as you probably saw, I screwed up, got a little globby, but you know what? I'm just going to keep going with it, because you know what? I'm not perfect. Yeah, let's fire up the air compressor through the airbrush and see what we can do with these things. If anything, I'm not totally worried about this screw up, because the airbrush might just ruin it all anyway. If not, we'll just keep going with it. All right, back in the shop, and I figure before I spray the clear, if I have the airbrush out and I'm going to get it dirty and it's going to get all sticky and gummed up, I might as well go with all the colors all at once. So I'm going to pre-mix them. So for that chartreuse looking yellowish right there, I'm going with this Aztec Gold. See how that works out. For that color up there and in the cheeks, I'm going darker. I'm going with an antique bronze. Then I don't have anything to match that exactly. So I'm going to try something. It's going to be a win or a fail. I'm going with it regardless. I'm going to mix. This is from my little packet from Amazon. Well, you get, you've seen it before. All these colors. There you go. Just tons of them to try out. Good variation. I mix this with the sapphire blue. I'm hoping if I combine those together, I can get what I'm looking for in that stripe. So I'm going to get these mixed up and show you what they look like. Alrighty. There's one. There's two. And that turned out pretty darn good. I get the blue and the purple out of that. So let's see if we can't move this thing along a little. Again, sorry for the fan noise. It's actually a space heater that's going because it's still freezing out here. All right, air compressor's charged up. Let's see if we're actually getting. All right. Pray for rain. Oh God, it's already. Well, I already. I was at only 20 psi. I started spraying that around, so I'm gonna see if I can mist it down at 10 psi if it'll spray. I want to spray at that. Well, that's that. It kind of sort of worked. I don't know. Next time I think I'd want to use a stencil. But let's move on. I'm looking at the yellow in the tail there, or the yellow chartreuse, and right there. So I'm going to put those up. And I just realized something. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do the freaking white. The white's gonna have to go on after the fact. So I'm gonna need another jar. Anyway. All right, so let's go with this. Well, that's gonna make a mess. You ain't seen it in a while. It's not rag. Well, at least I can say I definitely like the color. Oh my gosh. What am I doing? All right. A little here, a little towards the tail. Okay, that went swimmingly well, actually. See if I get some of this dumped back in. Maybe it's not even worth trying. All right, gonna clean the brush out, come back to you with the next color. All right, next color's in. I want this mostly the head and the back area. See. All right. Next is the make it or break it color, and that's the blue. I already see an issue. I think I went way too thick up here, and you're not going to be able to see that blue as good. But, you know, we just got to keep going. If anything, it'll be a fail video, right? So, shift this up a little more. I'm really not feeling too confident in this anymore. Well, actually, I never really had much confidence in this, but I had to try it. I had to. So we'll see where we end up with it. God, there's just too much power. I'm trying to lower the pressure again. Okay, I'm down around 10. That's just too low. will say this, I nailed the color. Why is that so nerve-wracking? We'll save what's left of that. And be right back. Wouldn't be fair of me to not show a possible fail by peeling these off, right? I'm afraid that if I got too close, it's going to pull that plastic up with it. That's my biggest fear right now. Holy crap. How'd I get lucky? How in the heck did that happen? That's not going to happen with the second one. There's no freaking way. Don't you love my wonderful taping skills? I'd like to thank Mrs. Dull, my kindergarten teacher, who's probably long gone. I can't believe I remember her name. How many of you remember your kindergarten teacher's name? Maybe that's a common thing. Maybe people do. Maybe they make such a big impact as teachers in your life. Holy crud. You know, that's... Damn, even if that doesn't turn out exactly like the Megabass, this might be pretty funky cool. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, your top isn't going to be completely coated, neither your tail. I do plan on coming back with this with the airbrush and hitting it on the outside, because I do have proof of concept that it will hold based on this little guy here. Who, gosh, I might as well just remelt that. That's some nice clean plastic. Just cut off that microfiber there. Look how clean and clear that is. And that's a swim bait blend, so it's got more resin in it than most. But anyway, I digress. Let's wow, I can't believe it's that time. Let's do it. Let me heat up some plastic and we'll shoot this thing, and then when we're done with that, we'll throw it in the oven. All right, we are all warmed up, except for the injector, of course. That's freezing cold still, but oh well. Golly, I hope that worked. What's horrible is I'm still going to have to let this bake for a little bit. In fact, why don't I get the oven going here? I'm setting it for bake at 350. No, 300. Glad I said that out loud. Actually, I'm going to go a little under 300. And I'm preheating it because on a toaster oven like I'm using, it, hold on a second, my brain is OCDing. Because when it preheats, those coils get way faster, hotter, just to bring it to temperature, and then they cool down and run at the temperature they're supposed to. So I'm going to preheat it first, which is why you should do that with your pizzas, ladies and gentlemen. And then I'm going to pop it in there and we'll see what we get in the end. Please don't tip over. While we are waiting for that to bake, I forgot once again about the belly color. So I am going to use a pearl white with a touch of the interference red to try and get that little white pink shift that you see in the belly. It's not a huge deal. Let me take it out. That's what she said. But it is significant enough I want to get it in there because it's on there. So I got to do that. So that'll be interesting because I'm going to get overspray possibly. I guess we'll just see what happens. Well, I'm hoping this was long enough, so I'm going to turn that off and open it up so it can cool. Oh yeah, it's toasty in there. God, that actually feels good on the hands. Cold. Once it cools off, we'll take it out of the mold and see what it looks like and possibly do some finishing touches. All right, moment of truth. I'm actually nervous about this one, but it's finally cooled off. Not gonna lie, I'm disappointed. Didn't get that purple stripe hardly showing at all. I thought I'd oversaturated. That's exactly what happened. Well, I guess at this point, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say to hell with it, and I'm gonna spray that purple stripe in there, and then I'm gonna hit the other colors also, and see what that looks like. Let me load up the old airbrush. All right, first thing I want to do, I want to get this belly white. So let's do that. All right, well, we kind of have that white on there now. Let's see, let's do this. I'm hanging it up actually for it to dry for a minute while I load. Let's do the purple next. Airbrush is pretty much cleaned out from that last one. There's nothing left in there, so I just put a very little bit in, which is all I'm doing with this also. And spilling it all over too. As you can see. All right. Trying to figure out how to do this so you can see. Don't want to, well, let's just do this. too much on that side. Well, luckily I still got to come over it with that darker brown, or that gold color. So I'm gonna let that sit here for a minute. I'm gonna clean out the airbrush and I'll be right back. Okay. Coming back in on the back of this thing. You see how light I can go with this. Now I do want to get this little tail section. Sorry, I was totally off camera doing that. Wow, sorry. I'm going to bring the brown back down a little bit, like that. And the same over here. Okay, that helped a lot. That helped a whole lot. Next, I was gonna do that darker gold brown color. I'm gonna use the brighter one for the tail, and I may hit up towards the cheek again to get that yellow to come back through. All right, so on this, I'm now going to do the tail first. That way it can hang while I hit that area, and a little bit up in the cheek again. And I have to believe that was the right decision there. These days I'll learn to keep y'all in frame. Okay. So I have that. I'm going to hit the cheeks up here a little. Oops. Okay. Well, everything's covered. Let me let this dry here for a minute, and I'll get back with you. I keep saying, I'll get back with you, I'll get back with you, I'll get back with you. Should make that a t-shirt. Alrighty. It needs eyeballs, right? So let's do that. The original bait has red. I don't have actual true Megabass eyes, but we will use what we have available. Can't have it perfect. Megabass might try and sue me. Oh, that eye placement could have been so much better. Oh well. Let's try and get this one on a little better. There we go. And we'll finally cut the cord here. Let's see what we ended up with. You know, not gonna lie, I'm still gonna fish it, but it was not exactly what I was hoping for. Like I say, I kind of figured I bit off more than I could chew on this one, and in hindsight, I probably could have just painted this all on the outside, because this paint is holding up really well. My fear was that the mica powder was actually going to come off, but that's not the case. You can barely see the red dots. Here, let's get the original. Yeah, I could have went darker. I should have went with that. Actually, now that I look at it in this light, it looks like there's hues of green in there. I should have went with a green. Gosh darn it. Maybe that would have made a difference overall. It's not like I don't have the paints and I couldn't retry this again, but let me get a nice white clean board. How about that? We can actually look at it a little closer. I don't even bother to look if the other side's any better. Yeah, the other side you can actually see more of the dots and such. So, but the purple's too strong on that side. This, gosh. I almost want to do this one completely over again, but sorry for my bad filming. But we got that with the tint of white, and well, that could have even been a little darker on that interference red. The dots did not come out as well as I was hoping they would. The tail is not a chartreuse, it's more of a gold. I'm counting this one as a fail. Not happy with it. It was more difficult than I thought, but I think I may end up revisiting it even still. Because all in all, it's not shabby. I don't know. See what you guys think. I mean, I'm still gonna fish it, like I say. But hope you enjoyed. Been a while since I posted anything. I wanted to kind of go out with something big. Not go out with, but come back with something big, I should say. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see more airbrushing or what you're after. As usual, I hope you have a great weekend. Don't subscribe. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. Thanks for watching.